It was a bit of a relief, actually. It was. I had a great feeling of freedom because I was doing something that I had wanted to do for a long time. I mean, I've directed 3 short films or 4 short films before, but to actually be doing my first feature at the age I was a huge pleasure. But I was also completely, on the first day, terrified. And I mean, Laura said the story, but we were lining up for the first shot. It was 7 o'clock in the morning, and there was Richard Dreyfuss, one of the greatest actors in the world, getting ready to step into the scene. And my heart was beating really, really fast. And I thought there was a door beside me to the outside, and I thought I could just run through that door and nobody would know that I'd gone, because Richard knows what he's doing. Everybody knows what they're doing. And I was that scared. And then the producer said, "Sheila, they're waiting for you." And so I thought, oh, no going back now. And I went in and started the film. Small feature film, but with such amazing actors. I wanted to make sure that they were well represented, and but the weather was brutal. It was -30 with blizzards, and I had bought some stupid boots before I started, thinking, oh, they'll do, because they look like kind of director's boots. I thought, yeah, they're really good. And it snowed, and on the first day it snowed and it was -30. I was so cold I couldn't stop shaking. And the electrician, the gaffer, Edwin Lau, looked at me and he gave me this look up and down, and he said, "I've got something." And he brought out these really ugly, big, huge brown boots. They were like kind of bare feet boots. And he said, "Put these on." And they weren't even like padded or lined. They were like crappy old leather boots. And I went, "Really? Okay, I'll put them on." And I wore them for the rest of the shoot. So I was warm.
I would have to grin to that question, because it's like the real print of the story of my life, basically. That I've been in the whole field of human spaceflight for as long as I can remember, you know. Firstly when I was a child in my dreams, and then I was working in it for so long, over a decade, and I'm still working with astronauts in one way or the other. And of course, fulfilling dreams is now a topic that my heart and soul topic on stage when I'm speaking to an audience, you know, because I became a keynote speaker in the last couple of years, and the whole topic resonates with me on so many different levels. We would need about 3 hours for me to explain it, really. Well, speaking is a mix, I believe, about giving out information, about entertainment, you know, just giving information in a certain way that makes people laugh, but also changing people for the better, if so. Moving them. And at least that's what I find to be my responsibility when I'm stepping on stage. I want to be informative. I want that people know more about spaceflight than they did before they came. And I want that they go home being a little bit bewildered about, like, I don't really understand what just happened. I just feel like I need to do X, Y, Z now. Let's see. You know, I want to really just wreck their hearts and their brains and just squeeze it and mold it around so that they do something.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose I'm now the age I am, and I always knew that I wanted to step behind the camera and become a film director. And it was a huge dream of mine, but I also think for the elderly, they shouldn't stop dreaming either. I think that, you know, we've talked long and hard about this over the last few days, that the elderly are marginalised and they're forgotten about, I think. And they're considered, it's not that people don't see them, but I think they don't hear them. And so I have lots of personal dreams for myself. One of them was to be an astronaut, but I don't think that's going to happen. I'm a bit claustrophobic. But I have lots of dreams, and I dream that I'm going to direct another 5 or 6 films, and continue to do what I'm doing now. Well, you think some of the stories are dropped off. Yeah, it's a good question. In the rough cut, we had, when we shot the film of Jim losing his job, we actually had him being fired. We saw the scene of him being fired. We saw him standing outside the building and the weight of the world on his shoulders. But when we got to the edit, we realised that actually, there's always structure in a script, and that the turning point wasn't coming quickly enough, that Angus needed to get on his journey. It's Angus's story. And I felt my dad lost his job when he was about 59, and I always feel, if you're a discerning viewer, and even if you're not, that you can tell from watching the brilliant actor that Lyric Bent is, that when he reads that letter, that it's the biggest blow, and how is he going to cope with that? And so by him getting involved with Angus' journey, it made the trajectory slightly clearer. But if we went off with Jim and then it became Jim's story, or there was more discussion about it, it was actually delaying the journey of Angus, which is to enter the competition and get going. So it was a decision that we made to cut a few scenes out to get the story going faster. The actors were all brilliant. The original draft of the script, 10 million drafts later, was a much bigger film. It was, there was gun chases and cops and makeup being put on Angus, and his hair was being done, and then they went to a fake passport shop, but I suddenly realised, for this budget that we made it on, you didn't need all that. I had to keep drilling down in this story. What is this story really about? Well, this story really is about Angus, his dream, the dysfunctional family who are all kind of at odds with each other, coming behind Angus, and Angus making people in the nursing home feel like they've got a goal too. They've got to get him on that spaceship. And that journey became like a big onion that everybody was joined together, and all the pieces came together, and they all had the same goal: get Angus to achieve his dream, and that made them happy. So whatever we cut, whatever we rewrote, it's still the same story, really. Oh, amazing. I mean, he's a genius, and he's funny. He's very giggly. I mean, he's not. I wonder if he comes across. He's very mischievous, so he's full of giggles, and he's also extremely bright. So I know nothing about American history, and he likes to chat. And he told me about the American Civil War throughout the filming, and I was going, right, come on, Rich, we've got to go and do the scene now, but hold that, and he's great, and he's just a superb actor, one of the best actors in the world. Yes, I'm very happy with the result, because what's been astonishing to me is, you make a movie and then you get the rough cut and you go, oh God, what have we got? Oh no. And then the editor takes hold of the story and finds the truth of the story and the heart of the story, and we work together. And I am very, very happy with the result, because it seems, touch wood, that this film, although it's a fairly simplistic plot, does reach people, does touch people, and that's really what I wanted. I really wanted, the next one will be, hopefully, fingers crossed, bigger, more money, a more complicated plot line, but this really was a simple little message about love and hope and second chances. So I was very happy with the result. But when you first start writing a script, in your head you're Steven Spielberg. So you're taught to write big, write as big as you can. But then everybody knows, every filmmaker knows, especially a first-time filmmaker, feature filmmaker, that you're not going to get $20 million to shoot your first movie, because it's like saying, hey, I've never built a house before, but I'm going to build a massive great castle over there, and will you give me $20 million to build that castle? But I've got nothing to really show you, so I've got a couple of bricks here, but that's about it. It's the same thing with making a film. So I knew that I'd written big, I had all the characters in my head, and now I had to condense it like a soup to make it possible to shoot in 19 days. Yeah.